Hello, and welcome back to Rev Lexus, the Lexus channel for you. And today I'm going to be talking about a really exciting kind of topic because it's one I lived through myself and I thought it'd be really handy and useful for anybody looking at these two options. And probably by the title of this video, you can work out that today we're talking about the Lexus LC. So for anybody unfamiliar, which hopefully you're not, being a Lexus fan, the Lexus LC is kind of the flagship Lexus at the moment. I know they've just launched the Lexus LM, which is this van chauffeur thing that's actually more expensive. I think it's 120,000 versus like 110, 112 of the LC, but that's not out yet, so let's just call the LC the top flagship. So the LC is one of the first cars built on the new luxury platform that Toyota developed, which also rides or shares its platform with the LS and the Toyota Mirai, the hydrogen one. And the two powertrains available on the LC. So you get the 5-litre V8 in the 500, and you also get the 500H, which is a hybrid version, which uses a 3.5-litre V6 coupled with some battery packs. So start off with both similarities. They both look identical, especially the kind of 2018 to the 2023 models. They really didn't change it much exterior wise, depending if you got obviously the different trim levels, but they pretty much all got that chrome and black 21-inch wheels. There was a kind of entry level one with 20-inch wheels, but most of them, if not all of them I've seen in the UK anyway, have got these upgraded wheels like mine. Both cars are rear wheel drive, but the differences out with what we're talking about the engine are quite interesting. So the 5-litre V8 you may know is the 6SE, which produces about 457 brake horsepower from what I can see from 7,100 RPM. It also produces 389 pound-foot of torque at 4,800 RPM. 0 to 60 is claimed in 4.5 seconds with this car, with a top speed of about 168 miles per hour. And the car uses 245 tyres up front and 275 tyres at the rear. And weight distribution is said to be around 52 front and 48 in the rear. And it uses a conventional 10-speed automatic transmission. Now this is where it gets interesting. So the 500H, which I have, uses a 3.5-litre V6, which is an 8GR FXS, and it seems to be about 50 kilograms more from what I can see online. I think with the battery pack and all the gubbins, it seems to be heavier and counteracting the lighter engine that's up front. It does have a complex transmission. It's actually kind of got two transmissions. It's got a traditional 4-speed automatic with like the 4 gears, and it's got the CVT, which actually has like these stepped gears. So the idea is it's got 3 stepped gears and the 4 physical gears, which somehow combine to make it 10 gears, like the 10 speed you get in the Lexus LC 500 normal conventional one. It's a really unusual setup, but in my experience from driving both models, that I was looking at a 2018 model, and they're both, the transmission's a big difference. Like moving off around town, I found the hybrid one is just smoother off the line, especially that's like, see that stop and go traffic where you're sitting at lights or moving at a roundabout. I found the transmission in the hybrid just it suited that like lifestyle better of stop and go traffic. Once you're up and running and you're purring along at like 50, 60, 70 miles per hour, both are great. I think just around town it's a wee bit jerkier in the earlier LC 500. I know they revised that over the course of the model life, but just if you're looking at an early one, it's worth considering the LC 500H like I did, because that's where I noticed the difference. So as I mentioned, the two gearboxes are pretty complex mechanically, and I have seen YouTube videos on that, how it works, and it just blows my mind, but it's really cool to have, and you're not really thinking about these gearboxes. It was a big blocker for me having that in my head, and like, is that going to be double the maintenance or double the risk? Because if a gearbox or a transmission blows up, it's obviously going to be double the price because you've got double the bits. So we're saying touch wood, we're not going to have that issue. Just FYI, Lexus in the UK, if you get it serviced with them, you get that warranty up to 10 years, which is what I've booked in, I think, the next 2 services with them. So with that plan, or maybe the next 3 services, I can't remember. So I've got about another 5, maybe 6 years left on the service plan, or the warranty. So fingers crossed that stays all right. The power difference is, it was quite hard to find a torque figure, but the power that I could see online is the car produces 354 brake horsepower at 6,000 RPM. That's versus the 457 I could see quoted at 7,100 RPM. So it's producing peak power at lower RPM range, but it's about 100 brake horsepower less than what I can see online for the out and out brake horsepower. I did see a torque figure for 369 pound-feet of torque at 3,000 RPM, but I'm just not convinced that's like the total torque, because that just wouldn't make sense with the torque being like a good bit lower, like what we're looking at 369 versus 389, and then 100 brake horsepower down, and the car's heavier and it's not that much slower. Top speed is limited, or claimed limited, to 155 brake horsepower, 155 miles per hour. And as I mentioned, you've got the CVT with the 3 step points, and that is connected to the 4-speed auto, so the shifts are quite crisp and direct, which is what I quite like. What I love about both models is, when I was test driving even the LC500 and the LC500H, is how adaptable the car is, especially in everyday driving. You put it in comfort mode and the car just feels like a luxury cruiser. Like, it really absorbs the roads really well. If you've been to the UK, you live in the UK, you know the roads are just horrific here, and it really absorbs potholes and the undulations of the road really well. I put it in sports mode, and both cars are very different in that aspect. I would say the V8, this is where it wins in terms of noise, the thrill, the sensation through like the gears and putting your foot down in the accelerator, just feeling that accelerator. Motorway, or just, like general acceleration in sports mode, the V8 for sure sounds better, has more rumble, and really provides that atmosphere and atmospheric environment in the cabin. The 500H sounds like nothing really I've had before. Put it in sports mode, there's a little bit of synthesized noise going on, and there's a lot more noise in the cabin, just with regards to induction noise or engine noise, just something's going on there. And I'd argue it kind of sounds like a V6 Jaguar F-Type. As close to that as I could imagine. The V8 rumble is just out of this world, so if you're buying it purely on sound, V8. And I can see why reviewers on YouTube, when I watch so many videos, were always saying the V8, and there were always American videos as well. I've watched some Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland videos as well, as well as one in India, and the 500H is actually their choice. So it seems to be very regional. I guess it depends on fuel efficiency and the cost of your petrol there. It's also worth noting that the V8 actually produces 262 grams per kilometre of CO2, whereas the 500H produces 184 grams per kilometre of CO2. So if you're taxed based on CO2 figures or engine size, you're going to go for the 500H. It would save you so much money each year, whereas you're going to see that increase in tax because you've got a V8, and I guess that regardless of any car, because a 5 litre V8 versus a 3.5 litre V6, out with a CO2, it's just going to depend on how your tax works. So I guess that's where we're looking at. The fuel figures are widely varied depending on the official figures and what you see in real life. So the 500s that I could see, like when I test drove it, I remember getting about 23-24 miles to a gallon, which I was expecting because I'm coming from an SE430, which is the V8, and that was getting maybe 21 to 24, maybe 25, 27 on a motorway run. It was the 5-speed auto, so with the 10 speed, you were getting a little bit more fuel economy. I have seen people in the forum say they get easily over 30 miles per gallon in the 5 litre V8 out on the motorway runs, which is fantastic. My experience with the 500H is between 35 and 40 miles to a gallon. I can't really, maybe it dips in deep dark depths of winter, which I've not owned it yet when it's been cool enough to have like all the heating on or all that, but I've maybe seen 34 point something to a gallon, but typically it's 35 to 37 range. And on a motorway, John, you're getting about 40 miles to a gallon in the hybrid. So you're probably seeing about 7-8 miles to a gallon difference. And again, that's going to maybe swing you one way or another because it's going to be your daily vehicle. And depending if you're living in a place where you're getting heavily taxed, high fuel prices, the 500H makes more sense. If you're somewhere like you're in America or in the Middle East where fuel's cheap and you're not getting taxed in the size of your engine, then by all means go for the 5 litre if that's what you prefer. They're very different. Sounding, the way they feel, as I mentioned, transmission, the boot space as well. There's a little bit less. Well, it feels like there's a little bit less in the rear of the 500H. Both are quite small, but I'm trying to remember because the 500 that I test drove was the convertible as well. That was a more recent convertible one, which obviously has the boot space was not amazing on that. So I'm trying to remember now because the 500 regular one I drove way back in like 2018 or 2019. Yeah, so the boot space in either of them is not fantastic. But all in all, I just wanted to get this video out to you guys to share the comparisons of both out with what you see on YouTube, and hopefully this video being on YouTube will be useful for anybody debating between both, because at the end of the day, you choose the car that's right for you and not what every person on YouTube or a Facebook group or a forum saying buy this, because everybody's needs are different. And that's why I went and got the one that suited me. I love the interior of mine. Mine's got the lunch spec with that blue, white and orange. I love that interior. I did look at a few 5 litre V8s like literally the week before that had the blue black interior, and it doesn't sing to me the same way as that kind of tri-coloured interior does, because it lifts the cabin when it's all black and subdued. It's very subtle, and that suits some people as well. So it might be down to interior spec that swings you. I quite liked how the way the V8 and the V6 drove. I just, in this instance, the kind of smooth power delivery, the hybridness, and the confidence that looks swung me on that exact particular LC. If there was a few years time, I might say I want the LC 500 convertible, and I would probably go for that one with the kind of structural blue, that blue colour they're doing. If it's called structural blue, or if it's still called, whatever it's called, ISB 2.0 or whatever it might be called, with that kind of regatta inspired white and blue interior. I think that looks stunning as well. That with a different colour top, not a black roof like one of the colour tops, I think that'd be great. So I think it depends on what you want. But I just wanted to get the facts out there, what my thoughts were on it. And also from my owner's perspective, if you're looking at buying this car, bear in mind it's going to be a lot more in maintenance, parts and tyres, because the tyres are 21 inch, you're looking over £300 a tyre. I know the RCs, people complain when they're like £220, £240 for the tyre if you've got the F Sport. You're going up a size, you're going up a wider car, heavier car, you're going to go through tyres quicker, so you're probably looking at about £1,200 to do all 4 tyres at a dealer. I'm not saying if you're getting it off the back of a truck at a back-end garage, but at this stage of car you're probably going to keep it as pristine and kind of matching with good tyres on them. But just bear in mind those little facts as well. And of course premium fuel as well. The amount of comments I see on Facebook with people asking, can I put regular fuel in it? And I'm like, it says premium on it, and you want to keep the car running as smoothly as possible, so I wouldn't put regular fuel in it. And I'm going to get some comments here saying you probably can, but yeah, that's what I can see was recommended from memory and from everybody that I've spoken to, especially with the hybrids. I'm just sticking with premium. So that's a couple of bits to bear in mind. I'm conscious that I've ran on to 13 minutes in this video, so I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video on the LC 500 and 500H comparison video. I was going to say 500 video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to Lexus below, comment below your thoughts and what you decided on. If you did actually buy an LC, I'd be really curious to hear what your thoughts were and what your thought process was to go with the car. As always, stay safe. Thanks for watching. Ciao.